I'm Joe Foss. Do any of you raise your hands if you know who I am? If you don't, see, nobody knows who I am. That's why I'm here. Our country, down through the years, been sending men and women to defend our country, to protect us from people that would like to give us a new way of life. See, the founding fathers of our country, they established the Constitution bylaws of our country, a Constitution and bylaws of our country, and that's what the government is based on and operates on. Those men and women came to America to give us all of the freedoms that they did not have on the other side of the ocean. The freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and so forth, right on down the line. And it was a tough life to leave the good life of Europe and so forth over across and come to the United States and start anew in just a frontier where you had to chisel it out of the woods. They didn't have all of the modern day equipment that you have. See, young people today, imagine all of this stuff just seemed to have dropped out of the sky, and it did not. And then came World War II, and I was involved in that. I enlisted in the service in 1937, and I came right fresh off the farm. I was a farmer. My dad was killed when I was a junior in high school, so I took over the farm, and my mother and younger brother and sister, and the mortgage. The mortgage on our farm at that time was $5,000. Now, some of you say, $5,000, I carry that in my hip pocket. Some people do. It doesn't seem like much, but you compare it, the dollars and cents of that day to day, and there's a heck of a change. I don't know how much somebody has told you about my life. In the Marine Corps, I was a member of the VMF 121, which was fighting the Japanese out in the Pacific on the island of Guadalcanal. The Japanese were trying to sweep the Pacific after Pearl Harbor. How many of you know what Pearl Harbor was? Some of you know that. That's when the Japanese tried to come in and they were going to take over and operate, come from the west and get the whole Pacific Ocean as their territory. What they really wanted was all the islands out there plus Australia and New Zealand. They had a big plan that they were going to put into place. And it was up to us to stop them, which we did. I got involved with the Air Force Association, was president of that, and then with the National Rifle Association, was a board member, and then president of that, and I'm still on the board. I've stayed active in all of these community things ever since I was in the service. Why? Because I believe in the United States of America. Why did I ever enlist in the service? From the simple reason that I believe in this country and what it stands for. That's plain and simple. Were you afraid? Sure. When you're getting shot at every day for a living, if you aren't a little nervous in the service, why, you're not all there. But I'll guarantee you, when a bullet comes up and hits within a few inches of your head, why, you sort of blink. Now with that, I've given you enough background to ask questions for a week. Who has the first question? Have anything to say? Yes, young lady.
After your father died, was it hard for you to take over your farm?
No, because I was brought up working side by side with my dad, see. But, I missed him so much. But in those days, they trained a young person that lived on a farm especially, where you work side by side, see, and if something happened to the head man, you could carry on. And this, because I'd always known when to plant, what to plant, how to do all of these things, I just snapped in. It reduced what I call all my fun time. I couldn't go out for football, which I wanted to, and I couldn't go out for all of the sports. In places that I got interested in. Any other questions?
If you had one thing
If you go in the service, well, be prepared to accept it, a different style of life. You have to really learn to get along with people, because in the service is close living, and they tell you what to do, especially when you're just entering the service. And I always say it teaches you above all to learn to live with other people in close quarters. And see, that's what life is all about. Next question.
How old were you? And how many years were you?
How old was I when I went into the Marine Corps? I think 25. I'd been in the South Dakota National Guard, though I joined in 1937, the 47th Field Artillery. And, we had maneuvers there in the wintertime, and dragging those French 75s out and shooting over the hill and all. I didn't think was the greatest life in the world. Having the rank of private, I was the number 5 man on the gun, which is the guy that lifts the gun around if the corrections were greater than they could make with the wheelie gigs.
How many years were you in? How many years?
In the service, a total of 38 years and some months, either reserve or National Guard or regular. But I was always available till I was 65, and then you get the heave-ho. Now, for those of you that are sleeping now, I got to tell you, life, if you sleep through life, you're going to have one heck of a time. I noticed 3, 4 of you that are really tired. You probably had a hard night last night, and that'll get you no place on the face of the earth. Those that sleep through everything are useless to themselves and the people around them. So I say, like in class, stay awake and get all that you can out of it, and don't be a doughhead. It's that simple. And you work on your activities the same way. You just you go at it like you want to win, and you will win. See, the world is looking for people that are ready to go. See, it has no bearing on your race, creed, or color. The old United States, they can do a lot of yelling about so-and-so isn't getting a chance. Who gives a hoot of where you come from? It's where you're going that counts. You ever stop to think of that? And your parents, they said, come on, get up, get out there and do this. And you think, oh, fool. I worked all week, and I'm tired. It's Saturday. Boy, I just don't see it. But come on, correspond. Get going. That's the name of the game. Any other questions? It made you all mad now, so I guess that's it. But I want to say that I enjoy visiting and talking to young people more than anything else. For the simple reason, you are the future of the country. See, at 87, I won't be bothering you too long, according to the books. You don't live up to be a couple hundred years old. So your time passes, and people say, well, in the past things that you've done, did you ever look back and envy who was there and all? No, I don't, because I figured the individual that followed me was more capable than I was, because they had a better chance to be educated and have examples of how to do it, and I just, more power to them. I look around and figure, golly, that he or she's going to make it, and they're going to do a good job, and they have in every instance. So I've never felt bad when I stepped out of the one job to another, and I've had a lot of them. It looks like I was having a tough time keeping one job, but I'd always stay till I hit the top on that. Boom, I was out the side door. Thank you all for inviting me.